Hollywood Mega Raid. The West Coast Mega Raid will take place in February the 12th to the 14th in Hollywood, California. Everyone's invited, but no schedule, city guide, YouTube channel, blog or logo have been posted yet. Boston Mega Raid. The East Coast Mega Raid will take place on May the 29th to the 31st in Boston, Massachusetts. Everyone is invited. Special guests include Donkey Punched Halifag, Anon23 and a number of prominent ex-Scientologists. Website is currently in development. SID-Anon, flash raid on drug-free ambassadors. Anonymous caught wind of the drug-free ambassadors coming out in Australia and knowing that they'd not be exactly honest with the general public with whom they really represent. Anonymous formed a team to interpolate the clams. Anonymous had also obtained a copy of their permit for the day through the Freedom of Information Act and thus knew exactly what they were permitted and were not permitted to do. DFA violated the agreements of their allocated permit by distributing DFA pamphlets outside of the allocated location as stated in the permit. All violations were caught on video or photographed and city rangers were called on site and arrived. DFA shut down 15 minutes after they left, a whole 2 hours before their permit time was up. Arnie Lerma marries Maureen Druack. Notable old guard Scientology critic Arnie Lerma married Maureen Feisty Druack in Hemet this January. The ceremony was held at the home of Mother Suppressive Ida Camban, who has been fighting Scientology in its front group since the 1970s. Present at the ceremony were friends and family, including Graham Berry, Nancy Meny, Tory Magoo, Tommy Gorman and his wife. Following the wedding feast, several guests launched what would be 3 days of raiding at Gold Base. More post-game news. London, 24th of January 2010. London encountered a Narconon victim. They caught his story on tape and will release it soon. Stockholm, January 23rd. Anons in Stockholm also encountered a drug addict that went through the Narconon rundown and was not cured. He also confirmed that in his opinion Narconon was a fraud. Quebec, January 23rd. The Ideal Org in Quebec opens January 29th, so Anonymous encountered a lot of Sea Org there, but as usual they put up the typical non-confront and even failed at Curtain Tech. Additional raids were held in Belfast. Trollfest in the German subsection. Both German mods left Chanology forever early last year, and the German sub-forum of Why We Protest has been widely unmoderated in the last 10 months. This was okay until lately some flame threads about supposed ex-Cylons/free zoners arose, which were extremely annoying. Anonymous started a new mod election, but forgot to tell Why We Protest staff, who do not intend to introduce another mod for the small German subsection. But the mod election has, due to the absence of German mods, already become a German trollfest. New attempt of internet censorship in Germany. An alliance of internet users, computer clubs, the Pirate Party, Anonymous and others made a stand last summer against the first attempt to establish an internet censorship infrastructure in Germany. Internet censorship was proposed by Minister von Leyen, who shortly before the elections pushed her access aggravation law through Parliament and faced strong opposition on the internet and on the streets, so that the law has been suspended after the elections and she is no longer in office. Now there is a new attempt to implement internet censorship, this time through the Youth Protection Media Treaty. This contract comes from times before the internet and regulates things like age restrictions on movies or what kind of content may be broadcast by German TV stations, like no pornography before 11 p.m. Now the internet shall bow to those rules, meaning all pages need to be tagged with age restrictions. ISPs shall be responsible for the content they deliver even though the sites are hosted in foreign countries. Sites tagged 18+ shall only be displayed between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Internet censorship in Iran started out just the same way. The German internet is getting ready to fight for freedom once more. Videos of Anonymous fighting alongside the other groups against internet censorship in 2009 can also be found in this channel. The multinational agreement against internet piracy is going in a new negotiation round this week in Mexico. ACTA is negotiated in secret since the first meeting in 2007, but leaked documents indicate a grim future for the free internet. The known plans for the agreement include the graduated response system that can lead to a total disconnection from the internet for whole families and extensive internet control and filtering. Although the European Parliament tries to placate the issue, saying that no one will be cut off the net, the European Telecommunications Network Operators Association, ETNO, are very concerned about the consequences of ACTA. They say on their website, quote, Etno is concerned that disproportionate and wide-ranging measures such as filtering or the possibility of disconnecting internet users could be introduced through the anti-counterfeiting trade agreements currently negotiated by the EU and US, among others. Such a move would fully contradict users' rights as currently enshrined in EU law and reinforced by the recently adopted EU telecoms package. The British Liberals warned that the currently ongoing lawmaking process in Britain will be greatly influenced by ACTA. It is yet unclear if US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's latest statements concerning the right to internet access have any influence on the agreement. If you do not know ACTA and why it is a threat, a good video link explaining the issue can be found in the video description. SourceForge and Google Code block a large list of countries from accessing their services on behalf of the US government. SourceForge posted on their site, quote, "In addition to participating in the open source community, we also live in the real world and are governed by the laws of the country in which we are located. Our need to follow these laws supersedes any wishes we might have for making our community as inclusive as possible. The possible penalties for violating these restrictions include fines and imprisonment." Efforts continue to realise the early stages of Operation Darknet. While ACTA and national censorship attempts are threatening the free internet, Anonymous is working to find a way to create a free infrastructure that cannot be harmed by these measures. Anons involved in Operation Darknet are working on customising the open-source router operating system OpenWRT, which supports a wide range of inexpensive routers. To realise encrypted connections between anonymous darknet nodes, the serverless distributed VPN software Tink needs to be integrated into the OS, and secure ways to distribute configuration files have to be found. If you want to participate on this operation, in this stage you need a solid knowledge of networks, routers, VPN and Linux operating systems. Ideally you have experience in coding C for embedded Linux systems. Leave a message here or on the MeshNet wiki if you're able to help. Crazy drunk guy at Vancouver protest. First he insults, then attacks. A drunken passerby was arrested at the Vancouver protest last week. First the man was randomly ranting, "Fuck Scientology, watch Avatar," and then started insulting the protesters. After this had no effect, he attacked the protesters and threw his beer over them. Anonymous restrained the man until the police arrived to arrest him. The new Anonymous Still Alive video is out. A lot of cells have participated, although the last request for special pictures with the words "Finish the fight" was almost completely ignored. This might be due to the high degree of decentralization Anonymous has achieved in the past 2 years, which also leads to a less frequent use of Why We Protest in many local operating cells. You can watch it on the project's main page, anonstillalive.com. South Africa, part of Randburg org burns down. According to the ex-Scientologist message board, the Randburg org stood in flames last week and part of the building burnt down. Luckily, no one was hurt. The fire destroyed the course rooms and administration space. Oddly enough, almost all PC folders could be saved, but not the costly LRH course materials. After this, the org asks its members for donations so the org can be restored quickly. Rumour has it that Scientology might be after the insurance money, if they had any insurance at all. Either way, it's clear they pulled it in. The recently reconstructed Insurgency wiki on partyvan.info comes slowly back to the present time. Although important changes are missing, Anonymous is using the site, and new raid and project ideas can be found in the recent changes. Did you know? The e-meter, commonly used in Scientology auditing, was not in fact invented by L. Ron Hubbard, but by a psychoanalyst by the name of Volney Matheson, who was experimenting with shortwave radios. Matheson later became a practitioner of Dianetics, and the device was incorporated into their practices. Just another thing we can add to the list of what L. Ron didn't do, including graduate from college and write any good books. Pro tip: remember to cover your posters in cellophane or clear tape if it's raining in your area. A soggy sign is nobody's friend.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
Help promoting Anonymous News with just a few clicks. If you like this news show, please share it with other Anons, your YouTube contacts, post it in forums and boards, tweet it, put the link wherever you like.